Yashodanandana Rachachana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabiyari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabiyari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Rachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rachachana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Vijay Gauranga Daya Nitai Jaya Vijay Gauranga Jaya Daya Nitai Prabhupada Jaya Srila Prabhupada Jaya Om Vishnu Pranam Zaparivraj Kachaya Stotra Shati Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jaya Om Vishnu Pranam Zaparivraj Kachaya Stotra Shati Shishimat Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavina Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Adas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Ko Shri Krishna Chaitanya Brahmanitananda Shri Dvaita Gadara Shri Asadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopakapinath Chamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Maya Ki Jai Yamuna Maya Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Nitai Gopi Manandi Hari Bol All glories to Sema devotees Hare Krishna All glories to Sema devotees Hare Krishna Alle Ehre seien wir zusammen Gott geweihten Hare Krishna All klassische Gungaranga All klassische Prabhupada So we are reading from a transcendental diary by His Grace Harishori Prabhu. We are still in Chandigarh and the date is still the same, I think. Just there, 15th October 1976 in Chandigarh, okay. One by one, he described the 4 different types of demoniac personalities. As he did so, he recalled the comments made to him on his walk this morning. Third one is Naradamaha, one who, by acting very sinfully, becomes degraded, even with the human form of life. Today morning I met a man, he said. I want only roti, garments, and a home to stay, so I have nothing to do with God. All right, you want the roti and garment, but there are animals, they don't want the garment even. Only roti, the animals. They are better than you, because they only need roti. Scripture says, those who are working hard only for bread are considered to be on the level of the hawk. We see the hawks are working very hard all day long in the search for stool. They always think, where can I find stool? Where can I find stool? If a human being acts similarly by engaging himself in hard work just for bread, they are acting just like dogs and hawks. Everything is working like this. One who does not know God, who does not want to understand God, he is like a pig animal. Saeva Gokara. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:84-13. This is the verdict of the scriptures. Whatever one's position, Prabhupada said, in the human form, there is a relationship with God. As he graphically illustrated, there is government, it has connection with the people inside the jail and also outside the jail, and the government connection cannot be broken. So similarly, the demons have connection with the Lord and the demigods also have. Just as the prisoners have been put into jail to suffer due to their sinful acts, similarly those who forget God, the demoniac, they have to come to the material world. Yet punishment is only one feature of jail. There is also the opportunity to reform. Slowly, by pious activities, Madhyajino Pimam, Bhagavad Gita 9:25, one starts worshipping and becomes a devotee of the Lord and attains the Lord. That is the purpose of the scriptures, to remind those foolish people who have forgotten the Lord and their relationship with Him, so that slowly, they can learn. Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, yes, interesting that in this regard, that those who are just working hard for their bread and for their sense enjoyment, they are demons. And even they are on the level of dogs and hawks. He's describing this. He's saying this over and over again. If you're just here for working hard and for having some bread, this is also what the Christians pray for. Just give me my daily bread. But what level is this? This is not spiritual level. So, but there's some hope. Srila Prabhupada describes this very clearly also in this statement, that even when you've become a demon, you can slowly, by committing some pious activities, you become reformed. Like those who are in prison, they can also become reformed, and after a while, after they stayed in the prison, they can become even devotees, no problem. So we have also an example here who was in the prison for a long time, and now he's trying to become a devotee. So he has a chance. Everybody has a chance, life after life, to reform the way of living and to live pious, or to commit pious activities to come closer to Krishna. Krishna, Krishna. So now we are changing the book, and we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam. You understand German or not? No. So just what I do is we have the English on the board, then you can follow the English, and then soll ich ganz in Englisch machen? Okay, dann machen wir es ganz in Englisch. Sorry for the listeners who just who are very much attached on German language. We're having a class in English today. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are in the 7th canto, chapter 9, and the chapter is entitled Prahlad pacifies the Lord with prayers. The text is text 17. Starts with Yasmat. Yes, okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Before I start today, I have to ask for apology, because last time I was spoiling a little bit. At the end of the last class on Tuesday, I was spoiling something. So it was just it was with the kings and the sons, and it was Priyavata Maharaj, who was was a very, very exalted king, and he was the father of Agnidra. Yes, Agnidra. He was the one whose goal of life was to go to the forefathers' planets, to the Pitriloka. And I spoiled it a little bit. Sorry for that. But he was performing his duties very expertly as a king, and so his desire was fulfilled. And he also had a son. His son was Nabi, and Nabi's desire was to have a son like the Lord, and his son became Rishabdev. That was the correct way. Sorry, last time I was just a little bit confused and I spoiled it. So now we are coming to today's verse. Text 17. Yasmat priya priya viyoga samyoga janma. Yasmat priya priya viyoga samyoga janma. Shokagnina sakala yonisho dayamana. Shokagnina sakala yonisho dayamana. Dukho shadam tat api dukhamata diyahang. Dukho shadam tat api dukhamata diyahang. Bhuman pramami vadame tavadasya yogam. Bhuman pramami vadame tavadasya yogam. Yasmat priya priya viyoga samyoga janma. Yasmat priya priya viyoga samyoga janma. Shokagnina sakala yonisho dayamana. Shokagnina sakala yonisho dayamana. Dukho shadam tat api dukhamata diyaham. Dukho shadam tat api dukhamata diyaham. Bhuman pramami vadami tavatasya yogam. Bhuman pramani vadami me tavatasya yogam. Yasmat priya priya viyoga samyoga janma. Shokagnina sakala yonisho dayamana. Sukho shadam tatapi dukhamata diyaham. Bhuman pramami vadadmi tavadasya yogam. Yasmat priya priya viyoga samyoga janma. Shokagnina sakala yonisho dayamana. Sukho sharam tatapi dukhamata diyaham. Bhuman pramami vadami tavadasya yogam. Yasmat priya priya viyoga samyoga janma. Sokagnina sokalavdanisho yayamana. Dukho shadam tatapi dukhamata diyaham. Bhuman pramami vadami tavadasya yogam. Yasmat priya priya viyoga samyoga janma. Shokagnina sakala yonisho dayamana. Sukho shadam tatapi dukhamata diyaham. Bhuman pramami vadami tavadasya yogam. Yasmat priya priya viyoga samyoga janma. Shokagnina jarajunisho yayamana. Dukho shadam tatapi dukhamata diyaham. Bhuman pramami vadami tavadasya yogam. Word for word translation. Yasmat, because of which, because of existing in the material world. Priyam, pleasing. Apriyam, not pleasing. Vyoga, by separation, Sangyoga, and combination, Janma, whose birth, Shoka Agnina, by the fire of lamentation, Sakala Yonishu, in any type of body, Dayamanaha, being burned, Dukkha Oshadam, remedial measures for miserable life. Tat, that. Api, also. Dukkam, suffering. Atadya, by accepting the body as the self. Aham, I. Bhuman, O Great One. Pramami, am wandering within the cycle of birth and death. Vada, kindly instruct me, unto me, Tava, your, Dasya Yogam, activities of service. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O Great One, O Supreme Lord, because of combination with pleasing and displeasing circumstances, and because of separation from them, one is placed in a most regrettable position within heavenly or hellish planets, as if burning in a fire of lamentation. Although there are many remedies by which to get out of miserable life, any such remedies in the material world are more miserable than the miseries themselves. Therefore, I think that the only remedy is to engage in your service. Kindly instruct me in such service. Purport. Prahlad Maharaj aspired to engage in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord. After the death of his father, who was materially very opulent, Prahlad would have inherited his father's property, which extended throughout the world. But Prahlad Maharaj was not inclined to accept such material opulence, for whether one is in a heavenly or hellish planets, or is rich or a poor man's son, material conditions are everywhere. Therefore, no condition of life is at all pleasing. If one wants the uncontaminated pleasure of blissful life, he must engage himself in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Material opulence may be somewhat pleasing for the time being, but to come to that temporary pleasing condition, one must work extremely hard. When a poor man is rich, he may be better situated, but to come to that position, he had to accept many miseries. The fact is that in material life, whether one is miserable or happy, both conditions are miserable. If one actually wants happy, blissful life, one must become Krishna conscious and constantly engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. That is the real remedy. The entire world is under the illusion that people will be happy by advancing in materialistic measures to counteract the miseries of conditional life, but this attempt will never be successful. Humanity must be trained to engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. That is the purpose of the Krishna consciousness movement. There can be no happiness in changing one's material conditions. For everyone, there is trouble and misery. Jai. Om Akyanati Mirandasya Gyananjala Shalakya Chakshurmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapara Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sargana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Krishna Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sargana Lalita Shri Vishakam Shitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagat Pate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Vinnavareshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Pre. Vanchakalpatarupyascha kripa sindhuvaivacha patitana pavanepyo vaishnavepyo namo namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Vicharni Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtata Shatarni Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Noch einmal den Vers. Yasmat Priya Priya Viyoga Samyoga Janma Shokagni Na Sakalavyo Nishodhayamana Dukoshadam Tatapi Dukkamatatiyaham Puman Pramami Vadame Tavadasya Yogam. O Great One, O Supreme Lord, because of combination with pleasing and displeasing circumstances and because of separation from them, one is placed in a most regrettable position within heavenly or hellish planets as if burning in a fire of lamentation. Although there are many remedies by which to get out of miserable life, any such remedies in the material world are more miserable than the miseries themselves. Therefore, I think that the only remedy is to engage in your service. Kindly instruct me in such service. Hare Krishna. So, very interesting verse again. And it's described here that whatever position you are in, it's a miserable position, always. Because why is it like this? Because this world is dukhalayam ashashvatam, which means this world is full of miseries and everything is temporary. That is the problem we have in this world. So you might be in a position where you are rich. But also, Srila Prabhupada describes here that although you might be in a position of a rich man, you are suffering. And you not have the problems with how to survive in this world, that you have enough money and you are able to afford a nice house and nice cars and whatever, but still you are suffering because the soul cannot be fed by material conditions. Not possible. The soul needs spiritual conditions, spiritual food. So it doesn't. I mean, there's a big difference of being a poor man and a rich man in a case of your material conditions are better, but suffering is suffering. And as a poor man, you have a better chance to surrender to Krishna, to take to Krishna consciousness than when you are a rich man. Because as long as your karma is very good and you think that you are enjoying in this world, then who cares for God? You can see, as this described in the Transcendental Diary, there was a man in this morning walk who said, as long as I have a roti and have some good clothes, so I don't care for God. That's the miserable position of those who are rich. But there will be a time, that's for sure in this world, when they lose all their riches, and then they don't know. That's many of them commit suicide. Then we have this was described over and over again. We had in Germany. We had a very famous goalkeeper. He was rich. He was famous. He was the goalkeeper of the national team, and he commits suicide. You can see that here. You can see that money is not preventing you from suffering. And if you have no solution for how to get out of your suffering, what are you doing? You kill yourself. You commit even a very sinful activity on top of that. So, like I said, it's better to be a poor man, because when you're poor, you have, the advantage of this, you're compassionate with other people. Whereas the rich people, they don't care for others. They just care for the satisfaction of their own senses. You can see they're only using their money for buying another car and another house and another car, another house. And although they see people living on the street or living in slums, they don't care. They could use their money for helping to improve their situation, but they don't care. They build big walls around their houses to protect their riches and everything, their family. They don't care for others. But when a poor person comes to riches by hard labor, which is described in this verse, they have to work very, very hard to become rich people. But then they use their money also for helping poor people. That's the difference between the rich people and the poor people. But anyway, you can see both sides are living in the material world, and it's like, and suffering is programmed. This is how it's okay. This is how the world is made. Just suffering is everywhere. And even, you can see that Prahlad Maharaj says, even the remedies for the suffering condition are creating more suffering than the suffering itself. And you can see this when, for example, when you have a problem with the body and you need to have an operation, for example. All the measures for this operation are causing so much more pain and so much more trouble and so much more suffering than the problem itself. I can see it from my brother. He had a very bad knee, and he was having an operation for getting a knee out of I don't know, metal or whatever. Just he got a new knee, but the operation failed. So the situation was worse than before. He had more pain than before, and the knee was not working properly. So he needed another operation. He had 6 operations after that, and so much pain to go through. All the time, this medicine, so that you don't feel the pain when they cut your flesh and all these things, and these narcotics you have to take. Then later, when the narcotic is getting weaker, then you feel the pain which is in your body. It's so much more pain than you had before that you can't even imagine. And then you have to take other medicines for just not feeling the pain so much. So it's just like you're in a wheel of pain and suffering. And whatever you do, just all these remedies, these so-called remedies they invent for reducing the suffering, they cause even more problems than before. You can see it also when all these politicians, they try to make solutions for making the lives of their people better, but actually they create even more problems than before. Whatever they do, it's because they have no spiritual view. What really makes the life better of people? That is when they start practicing Krishna consciousness. That's for sure the remedy for this life. For the life of all human beings, for the lives of all beings in the world, because also you can see those who are practicing so-called spiritual life. For them it's normal to kill other living beings for their tongue, for the pleasure of the tongue. So that is not spiritual life. Spiritual life is caring for all living entities, and especially when you have achieved this human form of life, your duty is to protect the animals, and not to kill them and cook them and eat them. That's not spiritual life. So, Krishna. So this is actually a solution, and not. Also you can see also these elevated demigods who are living on higher planets, who have so much more opulence. They have also problems without end. But because of what? Because the demons, they are coming and they are trying to get their opulence and their heavenly planets, and this is happening over and over again. The demons are envious of the demigods, and the demigods are envious of the demons. And you can see even when they work together, like they did in the churning of the milk ocean, they were working together to get the nectar of immortality from this churning of the milk ocean. What happened as soon as the nectar appeared with in the hands of Dhanvantari? What happened? Directly the demons were snatching by force the nectar from Dhanvantari, and they started fighting directly. I have to think first, not you. It's me, it's me, it's me, not you, not you, not you. They were not even thinking of sharing. They were all brothers. But still, they were just directly, as soon there was something special, they were starting fighting. And also when just Krishna in the form of Mohini Murti was cheating the demons and getting the nectar back to distribute it amongst the demigods, after this whole thing happened, there was war again, killing again, fighting against each other, without end. So you can see, whatever condition you are in this world, it's just a condition, it's temporary, all is temporary, it's a matter of time when everything is changing, and it's full of miseries. And you can see also, when you come to this world, what you do is you directly make connections. Directly, that's our nature, to make connections. And these connections we have, in some of the connections we have friends, and in some of these connections we have enemies. And even our friends, they are turning into enemies after a while. So you can see, whatever you do, just nothing is working out perfectly. As soon as you come to Krishna consciousness, and then you might think in terms of friends and enemies in Krishna consciousness. But we have to consider that this person is trying to please Krishna, and I'm trying to please Krishna. So, and when we are doing service together, then this so-called enemies and friendship thing is just not there anymore. On the spiritual platform, we don't have this. Just we are all servants of Krishna, and we are all parts and parcels of Krishna. And our aim is to go back to the spiritual world. And for this we have to work together. Yes. It's not easy. It's not easy, because everybody comes with his own conditioning to this Krishna conscious movement, and there will be difficulties, and also sometimes there is also fighting. But it can be avoided by just sincerely surrendering to Krishna, always take shelter of the holy name, instead of just, sometimes, an action of another person creates some disturbance to us, creates emotions, and our thing is, of course, when something like this happens, we are thinking of it over and over and over again, and we're creating more emotions. And we are making an elephant out of a fly. That's a very common thing what human beings are doing, instead of taking shelter. So when you take shelter of Krishna, then after a while you can realize that this fly is still a fly, and it will not become as bigger as a fly. So it will not become an elephant. And we don't have to do something about it, actually. It's just, we learn to tolerate things, and we learn to see things in a different way. This is what normally happens when we are practicing honestly, seriously, and when we take shelter of Krishna. Good. This is, and also, what we can see from the verse before, or from the verses before, that Prahlad Maharaj, he was not afraid of Nrsingadev, of this fearful appearance of Nrsingadev, of this huge angry Nrsingadev, which he was after killing Hiranyakashipu. He was fearful of what? Of being in the material world. This is also what we should not forget. We should be fearful of the material world and try to get out of it. This is why we're here, and this is why we came in contact with Krishna consciousness movement, and we should use it in a proper way. Hare Krishna. This is what I wanted to say about this verse today. Are there some questions, remarks, chastisements?
Was sollen Gott die Organisation, wenn sie zu Krishna Bewusstsein kommen, dann soll Gott die weiter die Tiere beschützen. Aber wenn es eine Klage gibt, was soll das dann die Gott die weiter machen?
Oh, die Plage, So the question was, if there is a a problem with animals. Actually, animals should be protected. But what is if there's a problem with animals like mice and rats or things like that? I remember one incident when there was something in an Indian temple also like this, and Prabhupada said very clearly to his disciples that they have to take care of better cleanliness. Then these things will not happen. So the problem is if you have problems with insects or whatever, mice or rats, if the cleanliness is not there, they will be happy to be in your rooms and they will just live in your rooms. But if you have a high standard of cleanliness, this will solve the problem. That was the solution for Prabhupada always. I mean, it's not an ideal thing that we kill these animals. Just that's sometimes maybe it happens. We should not be happy about this, so that we have caught an animal in a trap and it's dead now. We should be really compassionate and think about how we can improve our cleanliness. And some devotees are starting already in our cellar because it was really messed up, and it's an ideal place then for these beings. If you have a dirty place and it's really everything is really messed up, then they will come and live there. So as soon as the cleanliness is better, they will go by nature. I hope. We hope. We see. Krishna. Hat das die Frage beantwortet?
Ja, eine Zeit als Umstände, zum Beispiel diese Stechmücken,
Ja,
die kommen ja,
ja,
egal ob die sauber ist oder nicht.
ja, das ist materielle Welt. Man darf sie nicht also ich habe die immer, mosquitoes, I also caught them in a glass, I used a glass to catch them and to put them outside. That's what I did with the flies or with whatever. I just never, I understood that it is not a solution to kill them. And even I had once in my practice, I had a lot of ants in my practice. So I took a broom and a shovel and I tried to get, and some of them were killed by this measure, but what can be done? But I brought them out like this. That was my solution. I just tried at least to get them out in this way. So, yeah, what can be done? This is how the world is made, and there will be no perfect solutions for anything, and there will be flies, there will be mosquitoes, they will torturing us in the summer. It's like that. What can be done? If they are, I mean, at least I know from Srila Prabhupada when they were attacking him, he was just defending himself. So when we are attacked by these beings, we can defend ourselves. But if not, then just try to get them out again, somehow or other. I remember when I was in the Hungarian farm, I lived in the ashram, and the ashram was above the cow shed, the Goshala. And we had loads of flies inside, especially when devotees have forgotten to close the door, and then they were coming in directly. I catched them all with the glass and brought them outside again. Just others were just killing them, but I did not do that. I was very respectful to these beings because they are disturbing elements. And sometimes when I was lying in my room and taking a rest after the first morning part in the Goshala, I was very, very tired. And then they were flying against my head by purpose. And it made me really angry. And I stood up. And even though I took the glass and I just catched them and I brought them outside, I did it like that. So, so that was my solution. Yeah, what can be done? And I closed the door just properly, and I tried to that in such a way that they can come in again. So that was how I did it. Something else? Okay, then thank you very much for attending the class. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. So.